And then you can also just layer on top of it, like maybe in the fall or in the winter. This will be like an underlayer. We have WhaleWish Henleys in here. Let's get this open. Every WhaleWish shirt you get comes in these very nice canvas bags. Look at these. Beautiful. And in each of these bags, we have a Henley shirt. It's the same model. Let's get one of them out. I'm doing this on the ground right now. Nicely individually wrapped, as always, with that paper wrapping there. WhaleWish has some of the nicest packaging I've ever seen out of a company. And then you unroll the shirt. Here's a beautiful hang tag, WhaleWish retro clothing. Each of their products, their shirts, their overalls, which I also have, they come with this paper slip with some nice artwork in here, and it gives you a lot of nice details about kind of the mindset of WhaleWish, the design. They do think about the designs, they think about the packaging very much. And even like this cardboard kind of stock paper is really nice. The hang tag, here we have the care label. The composition of this is 61% cotton, 30.8% hemp, and 8.2% elastane. So hemp is one of my favorite materials ever. I love hemp. Look at this tag. The tag looks good. Embroidered tag, WhaleWish, size large. Now, contrary to the other items I have from WhaleWish, and here is the back of it right there. This logo on the back of the neck is a photochromatic logo, so check it out. When it goes into the sun, it will start to blue. Look at that. I'm kind of in the shade, but it is bluing already. WhaleWish, beautiful. And it's kind of really nice on this color as well. The way it just kind of has that complementary kind of look to it, just slightly contrasting. Then you bring it back into the shade, and it kind of grays out, it dulls away, but in a nice way. Beautiful. It's more subtle on colors like the gray pocket tee that I have. And if you prefer that, check that one out, because that's a beautiful shirt as well. 100% cotton. These feel substantial, they feel nice. There's a nice heft to it. The edges here, very nicely done. You got the box stitch with the X to keep that placket nice and tight. The collar is nice and unique. It also has that stitching all the way around the edge of it, all the way through. It's like a flat collar, kind of. You can almost maybe call it, no, I wouldn't call it a mock collar, because technically it doesn't go up to your neck. It sits, as you can see through the clips, it sits more like a traditional crew neck shirt. But very cool looking collar, as well as the raglan sleeves, as I mentioned. The way that they're attached like that with the shoulder. It's kind of like an athletic look, kind of an old-timey retro look, as you might call it, WhaleWish retro clothing. I was given these for free, but I love WhaleWish so much that I affiliated with them. Don't forget to use my affiliate link when you buy these. You'll get that will get you 20 or 25% off on everything on their website. So if you're gonna buy some nice WhaleWish stuff, every detail accounted for. And check out the seam as well on the arm, how the stitching is just straight down. I really like that. It's such a subtle detail, but it adds to the vibe of the entire thing, because every detail is really taken into account, as well as like the raglan kind of sleeves we have going on the chest. That's one of my favorite parts about shirts like this. I've always liked shirts like this, and I forgot what they were called, but I have like other shirts, like long sleeve raglan kind of shirts as well, where they're like two-tone on the arms. I kind of like those. I don't so much like the two-tone, but the raglan part is really nice. It's just like a different way of attaching sleeves, and a very enjoyable one in my opinion. It makes the thing fit differently. It is a different pattern to the clothes. It's not just a style. And here we have the WhaleWish Henley shirt. Check it out. I don't want to put this other shirt down. This is another WhaleWish shirt right here. size medium. You do want to have to size up if you get the Henley shirts. As they do state on their website, they run one size small. This is a good size for me. It's a large. I usually wear mediums across the board in pretty much everything. Let me put this down somewhere else. Don't want all those ants all over it. Has the nice 3-button design here. They're kind of like an off-white, kind of like ivory vibe with these buttons. They're nice and big, not too large, but they're visually appealing, which is what I really like about Henleys like this, is that you can wear them on their own, just like this, and they look good, and it looks casual, right? And then you can also just layer on top of it, like maybe in the fall or in the winter. This will be like an underlayer, and I will have another kind of shirt over it, like a denim shirt probably. And then over that, maybe like a denim jacket or whatever. My Wrangler jacket. We are wearing the Wrangler 13 MWZ today with the Double H harness boots made in USA. The shirt is nice and long if you want to tuck. So, contrary to the other shirts we have from WhaleWish, these ones run a little bit longer. And for me, that's perfect because I love to tuck in my shirts. And it's fine. It's fine to have them untucked like this. It doesn't look too bad. I usually don't have my shirts this untucked. I'll usually have like one section tucked at least, but usually everything is tucked in, especially if I'm wearing these Wranglers or any kind of cowboy cut jeans. And just like my cotton hemp Levi's selvage jacket, I have a Type 1 selvage jacket. I did a video on that. Check it out. I love hemp. Like, hemp is just such a nice material. Now, when I feel this, I can really only tell because I know there's the hemp in there, but there is something particular about hemp that I've noticed, like in that jacket that I have and some other hemp items I've had. There's a little bit of a hand to it. It's less smooth than if it was 100% cotton, but it's like in a substantial, nice way, like a rugged way, which is very enjoyable because I love rugged things. I like things that last, that are durable. And the little bit of stretch that's in there as well is really good to help with things like reaching. So this shirt fits like very conformed to my body, right? And if it didn't have that elastane in there, it would still work out. It would be fine. But because there's hemp has a lot less stretch than cotton. So the elastane kind of makes up for that, and it feels less spandexy than you might think with the amount of elastane in there because the hemp offsets it. And this is what I'm talking about with WhaleWish, is they think about these details, they know about these details, and I didn't even have to choose this size shirt for myself because they knew what size I was, which is cool. If you ask their customer service, they'll hook you up as long as you know like your kind of general dimensions and your weight and your height. They'll know what size you should get, but they also have size charts on their website. So just follow the size charts and you'll be fine. Although when I did look on the website, I feel like I might have chosen the medium on this Henley shirt, and that would have been the wrong choice because the sleeves probably would have been like kind of like baby sleeves on me. Although maybe it wouldn't have been the wrong choice because if I sized down to a medium, I could exclusively wear it as like an undershirt because it would be more like hugging, and it would hug my body a lot more and be kind of less out of the way for whatever shirt I put over it. But I feel like this is just the appropriate size, so I can layer with this just fine. It's not going to really do anything underneath like a denim shirt. It'll feel perfect, in fact, especially with the hemp. This wind is coming in. This shirt feels good. It's super hot today. It's like, well, maybe not super hot. It's like 87, maybe 90 degrees. The wind with this shirt feeling breezy. I love the raglan sleeves, and we'll try on the navy color in a moment. It's more of a royal blue color, actually. So, what I like to do with my shirts a lot of the time is to sleep in them, and I did end up sleeping in this black one, which is called The Carpenter, or rather named The Carpenter by WhaleWish. And with most Henleys, I do typically keep the top button unbuttoned, and I like because it just gives a little bit more of a kind of dynamic feel, especially when you have some depth going on. It's just like when guys wear ties, they like to have them protruding a bit for some depth. Same concept applies to casual clothing. So keeping the top one unbuttoned is always great, just like keeping the bottom button of a jacket unbuttoned. Even if it's a casual jacket, this is a zip up jacket, but if this had buttons, I probably wouldn't be buttoning the bottom one when wearing it. It just has more flow, more drape. Just certain things you can do just make you look a little bit better. But yeah, back to sleeping in this thing. I did do that indeed. And perfect. I mean, obviously, there is a little bit of a elastane in there. So, unlike the 100% cotton t shirts that I reviewed, those are really put more to the test because they're 100% cotton and cotton stretches. And when it comes to elastane, of course, it's meant to retract back to its original state. And there's also hemp in here, as was mentioned several times, because I love hemp. I love when hemp is in as much things as possible, and it's just a great material. But yeah, I didn't expect much to happen after sleeping in this. You know, it's gonna be pretty much brand new, but it's still something I usually like to do just to test the things, like just to see if like the arms stretch out too much, because that does happen in a lot of my cheaper kind of t-shirts, and it's fine technically if that happens because you are sleeping in it, right? You're in kind of awkward positions, and that's fine. But the test is more so after washing it and making sure that it actually goes back to its original shape, you know, as much as possible. It does, as long as it doesn't look bad, then that's kind of the goal. That's why I tend to sleep in my shirts, because it's kind of an abrasive thing to do to a shirt, in my opinion. And also, if you have long hair like I do, sometimes I have it down or whatever in different styles. Putting a shirt on like this is so much easier because then you don't have to mess it up, especially for people that have curly hair. You kind of understand what I mean. Like, if the more you mess with it, the drier it kind of gets and the more fluffy it gets. So that's actually why I don't like wearing pullover hoodies, because it's just like it frazzles my hair all the time. But something like this, like you just slip it on real quick with the buttons undone, and you're good to go. It just goes right over your entire big old dome. But yeah, the tuck is nice. It never untucks. The other two shirts I have, and I could size up, of course, in the other shirts and WhaleWish's shirts. Those two shirts, they're more so meant for untucked wear, I would say, because they're a little bit shorter than this naturally. This is one size up. This is a large, but it's also supposed to run smaller, what by one size, right? So it's technically the size of a medium, but it has more length to it naturally, just because that's the design of it. And the design of the other ones is more of like an untucked kind of length, which is fine. I can still tuck them, but every now and then I do have to retuck with this one, especially because there's like a elastane, and when you're stretching, it doesn't pull out, right? Because the elastane kind of just has that give. These Henleys are now my favorite shirts. Like, I don't, I'm pretty much not wearing anything else lately, and maybe that's partially due to testing them, but it's also just because I love them. Like, the material feels so good. I really like the hand feel to it. That's super important in my opinion, and I think it comes down to the hemp. It's got to be the hemp, and of course, like good, nice, organic cotton. And here we come in for some close-ups of this WhaleWish Henley shirt. The carpenter, look at these buttons here. Very nice looking buttons. I like how this bottom one actually looks best. They have like a selection of similar looking buttons, right? And this one right here is looking really nice. High quality. A little bit of a loose thread coming out just from wearing. I've worn this cotton hemp shirt for like 3 days now, and I just began wearing this one here, the Purser, I believe it's called, by WhaleWish. They have each shirt individually named, and they make sense, the names. I'm just kind of bad at remembering things like that, but I have been popping stuff up on the screen for these Henley shirts. I've been loving them a lot. I keep mentioning the hand to them. They just have this very nice hand feel. The color on this one is very nice. It's like this somewhat more of a royal blue. It's not navy blue, In fact, like the black sometimes looks like it might be navy blue, but it's black. And this one gives just like a little bit more of a pop, right? Especially if you're wearing like black jeans or something. It is very hard to beat these Henley shirts, both in terms of styling and just kind of in the sense of the material. I don't prefer elastane and stuff, but like I've mentioned already, when it comes to this, because there's hemp and hemp doesn't really stretch as much, it kind of offsets that, and it just makes this really nice material. Like it looks kind of stretchy, I guess, if you stretch it out, but interestingly, like 8.5% elastane is kind of high, I would say. And I don't typically have things that have that much elastane, and when they do, they feel super stretchy. In fact, I have like a what's it called? A 32 degrees cool kind of tank top. It has 5% elastane in it, I believe, and that feels way stretchier than this. And I guess you can contribute that to the tightness of the weave of the hemp and the cotton, which is something that people don't think about too much, is the weave. And the reason the weave is important on clothing is because it'll allow for air to flow through. And the hand, again, I just keep mentioning the hand. I don't know how many times I've said that at this point, but it's like my Wrangler 13 MWZ video where I just kept saying that name over and over again. The hand, it just feels so good. Yes, and like with pretty much all of my videos, I like to try on different things just to kind of get an idea of how you might style something like this front quarter horsehide with this WhaleWish Henley t-shirt. I always like to keep the top one unbuttoned for the most part, unless I'm using it under as a layer. If I'm layering under or over the top of it, like with another shirt, then I would button the top button just to keep it like kind of, taut to the body, and then put a shirt over it. But yeah, front quarter horsehide, very stiff, very thick. One of the best leathers you can absolutely acquire. Just like WhaleWish makes some of the best clothing you can acquire. And if you use my affiliate link, you'll get the best discount you can get on their website. I highly recommend their stuff. And I just can't get enough of the Henleys. Like the Henleys now, like as much as I like their cotton tees as well, and they're cheaper. So if you want something cheaper, go for the cotton tees. But these Henleys are premium. I mean, I'm pretty sure on the website they call these premium. And usually people like to throw that word around. In my opinion, it's very true, especially if you put something like hemp inside of your clothing. Immediately, I think it's going to start to be premium as long as the other details are just right.